Alright guys, welcome to the channel, and what a Friday in Miami. A big upset in sprint qualifying. Lando Norris just took pole position in Miami. First time all season, a non-Mercedes driver has done that. Ferrari went fastest in practice. The FIA tried to fix the clipping problem. Spoiler, it is not fixed. Let's get into it. Real quick before we dive in, FP1 set the tone for the day. Here is the rundown, and then we will get into all the good stuff. Charles Leclerc topped free practice 1 at the Miami Grand Prix with a lap of 1:29.310. Verstappen was second, 0.3 back. Piastri third for McLaren. Hamilton fourth in the other Ferrari. But the story of FP1 was not the top of the timesheet. It was what happened to the championship leader. Kimi Antonelli was hit by a power unit issue with 10 minutes to go just as the soft tyre runs were starting. He could not complete a qualifying sim on softs. He finished 5th on hard tyres. George Russell was 6th. For a team that has won every race this season, Mercedes looked vulnerable for the first time. And that was just practice. Now let us get into the race pace picture. Because this is where Sunday's story starts to take shape. Russell was the strongest over the long runs, consistently in the 1:32 range. That is worrying for everyone else. Leclerc settled around 1:33.1 as his tyres came in, Hamilton similar in the low 1:33s. Verstappen ran on mediums, one compound softer than everyone else, and was still slower than Leclerc on hards. That tells you a lot about where Red Bull's actual race pace is. He also spent most of the session complaining about horrendous downshifts. Miami is historically low degradation. One stop on Sunday is the expected call, but there are thunderstorms forecast for race day, and if that rain comes, everything changes. Switching gears, because the upgrade story at Miami is genuinely extraordinary. 10 of the 11 teams on the grid declared new parts this weekend. Ferrari brought the most. 11 separate changes to the SF26. New floor, new front wing, rear wing, suspension, beam wing, a full rebuild. Red Bull brought 7 upgrades, including their own rotating rear wing. McLaren brought 7, centered around a completely new floor. And Mercedes, minor changes only. A reshaped exhaust outlet and front brake drums. When you are winning every race, you do not reinvent the car at round 4. The one team with absolutely nothing, Aston Martin, 0 upgrades. Still dealing with Honda vibration issues that are shaking the car apart. Alonso was 3 seconds off the pace in FP1, 3 seconds. It is a really tough situation for a 2-time world champion. Here is one worth highlighting. And the race published a brilliant technical breakdown of this that I will drop the link to in the description. Well worth a read if you want to go deeper on this one. Ferrari's exhaust wing concept, the FTM, the flick tail mode we talked about last week, has now been copied by 6 teams on this grid, including Mercedes. The silver arrows added a tailpipe winglet directly inspired by Ferrari's exhaust blowing idea. Red Bull brought their own rotating wing concept. Williams, Haas, and others also followed suit. Red Bull say theirs is not a copy, that they were already working on it independently. Their wing rotates 160 degrees. Ferrari's goes up to 270. Same goal, different approach. Leclerc, after FP1, said the Ferrari upgrades will make no difference against Mercedes. That is the classic expectation management line. Whether he is right, sprint qualifying gave us the first answer. All right, sprint qualifying, and this one delivered. Lando Norris put McLaren on sprint pole with a 1:27.869, and in doing so ended Mercedes' unbeaten qualifying streak in 2026. First non-Mercedes pole of the season. Antonelli was second, 0.2 back, Piastri third. Ferrari's FP1 form did not quite carry over. Leclerc fourth, Hamilton seventh. Verstappen showed genuine improvement in 5th. Russell 6th for Mercedes, over 0.6 off Norris. Norris said it himself after the session. Since the first lap, he felt rear grip he had not felt in a long time. The upgrades worked. McLaren are genuinely back in this fight. And look, before we move on, The gap between Norris in first and Russell in sixth was just over 6 tenths. In the opening 3 races, that gap from Mercedes' pole to everyone else was often over a second. This field is tightening up. But the session didn't end cleanly, and this is where it got messy. Norris was summoned by the FIA stewards immediately after qualifying. The allegation, driving unnecessarily slowly during SQ2, exceeding the 48-second time limit between safety car lines. The mood at McLaren shifted quickly, but after reviewing onboard footage, timing data, and marshalling logs, the stewards cleared him. No further action. Norris keeps pole. Then there was the Albon situation. The FIA admitted they missed a track limits breach by the Williams driver in SQ1 at turn 6. They only caught it post-session. Albon was stripped of every lap time he set, his SQ1 time and every lap in SQ2, dropping him from 14th all the way to 19th on the sprint grid, 5 places, not 1, not 2, 5. Lawson, who had been sitting in his car during SQ2 waiting for the ruling, moved up to 15th. He was completely bewildered. And there was more. Lindblad of Racing Bulls drops to a pit lane start after the team broke park firm rules by not covering his car, and Leclerc was fined £172 for speeding in the pit lane during FP1. And Stroll, he locked up, stopped on track, and never came back. No time set. Aston Martin needed Stewards' permission just for him to start the sprint. Not a great Friday for anyone in green. Miami is chaotic before a single sprint lap has been run. That is your full Miami FP1 and sprint qualifying briefing. Ferrari fastest in practice, McLaren take pole, Mercedes showing the first real cracks of the season, the FIA rule changes still not fully fixing what they promised, and enough Stewards drama to fill a separate video. Sprint race is tomorrow morning. Drop a comment. Who do you think wins it? Norris from pole, or does Antonelli find a way through? Subscribe if you are new. I would really appreciate it. Hit the like button if this was useful. See you tomorrow. Let's go.